Okay, everybody, hello. Welcome to the live stream for our review of WrestleMania 36. I am Mr. James Hay, and I'm joined along with my friend Cam Conway.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, so we are going to run down WrestleMania 36 now. Unfortunately, there are a lot of matches that aren't going to be incredibly memorable for us to talk in depth about, but of course there are those great moments from WrestleMania that we can talk about, such as the Boneyard match and the Firefly Funhouse. But before we get to that, we're just going to run down the card, give our opinion, if we have one, on some of these. All right. So, WrestleMania 36, of course, night one was on Saturday. It's the only WrestleMania too big for just one night, apparently. Maybe they should have just done it all in one night. Okay, so night one kicked off on the kickoff show. Cesaro and Drew Gulak. Not much to say there. Cesaro beat Drew Gulak, and we'll move on to the opener of WrestleMania, which is the Kabuki Warriors versus Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. And Bliss and Cross did win that match. Cam, your thoughts on Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross as the new champions?
Not a lot, really. I thought it was just a strong opening match. Nothing special, nothing shit. It was just a strong opening match to get us all going, I suppose. And get us used to the surroundings as well, and just how Mania was going to feel and the atmosphere. So they did fine. They did good.
Yeah, they're quite lively characters, all four of them. So I think, that wasn't a bad idea to open with kind of screaming at each other and all that kind of stuff. But what do you think about Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross having the belts now? It seems that they don't really know what they're doing with these women's tag team champions.
Yeah, no, I'm happy they've got the belts.
They are a good team. I would like to see Alexa Bliss maybe more as a singles again, but I guess we'll get there.
I would. I think the tag team is a bit random.
Yeah, and I think it's because Alexa Bliss is a babyface, which is not insanely natural to her, even though she is, of course, a very nice person in real life. But all right, well, that's that one. We move on to the next match, which is King Corbin versus Elias. Not a lot to say on this one. Thought it dragged quite a bit, to be honest. It's one of those ones you don't need on WrestleMania. Elias did beat King Corbin, for those keeping track. The angle that lasted about, 2 weeks.
If that. It was just one of those that they threw on to fill out the 2 nights.
And then surprisingly, the third match, which I guess was to maybe keep people's interest, but I feel like kind of devalued it. Shayna Baszler and Becky Lynch. But maybe in retrospect, it was the third match because Becky Lynch was going to retain. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, I was shocked when this was the third match in. I was very surprised because there was rumors of this match main eventing.
Yeah. I think that's all right. I think mainly if it main evented, it may have felt kind of forced, whereas last year's one felt more natural as a main event because you had Ronda Rousey and you had the big push of Becky Lynch and of course you had Charlotte as well. So I think maybe it's best not to force the women into the main event if there are arguably more interesting matches, although maybe that wasn't for the main event. But what do you think about
There's no way
winning?
Like I was just going to say, there's no way this match went down the way it was originally going to go down if WrestleMania went to plan. I think Ronda was going to be involved. I don't think Becky was going to win. I'm happy she did. Because otherwise there would have been too many champions that had their first major win with no crowd, and that sucked. And that sucked for the people that did win titles.
But they did change. I think they said about 4 titles they changed, which I was actually quite surprised in, like, that they actually did switch. Yeah.
But only 2 of those, which will come to, were major first title wins.
Yes, of course. I think some were just kind of a prop. Right. So Shayna Baszler over, not over Becky Lynch. Sorry, Becky Lynch defeated Shayna Baszler.
As for the match, I think it was the first good match.
Yes, definitely. I liked it had that raw, gritty MMA style which Shayna Baszler's known for.
Yeah.
And Becky Lynch is believably tough. We saw her with Ronda Rousey last year. She's one of the believable people that can hang with Shayna. I would like to see Shayna get the title. Not to spoil too much for Raw Feed Cam, but Shayna Baszler does basically essentially say that she's not done, I think. Or at least alludes to the fact that she's not done. So I think hopefully we will see her get the title. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Moving on then, the Intercontinental Championship, Sami Zayn and Daniel Bryan. Now I do like the storyline was well done, albeit slightly rushed, but the storyline, especially bringing Drew Gulak into it, and especially at the last pay-per-view, kind of starting with that Drew Gulak and Daniel Bryan match, and then now evolving into this. I thought, they did a good job, considering there was no crowd. These are two of the guys that, they essentially just treated it like they were having a wrestling match, maybe at a wrestling training camp or something. They still just put on a great match regardless, I thought.
I was disappointed with this match. What are they doing having a physical wrestling match? It should have been a wrestling match between those two. Those two are great technicians. What are they doing being physical with each other and brawling? And it was not what we were expecting. That match was in the top 3 of, this is going to be awesome going in, and then it wasn't.
So you expected
they did the wrong type of match.
You expected more of a Kurt Angle, Chris Benoit type thing, and we got more of a match you'd see John Cena have, or something like that. I thought it was, like I said, I did enjoy the match, but you are right. But maybe they felt because the storyline was semi-personal, but it really wasn't that personal. You could have just wrestle each other, I guess. But okay, now moving on to the first. Like I said, the last couple of matches were good, but I think this is the first match that felt like a WrestleMania match, or at least like they were trying to have a WrestleMania match. The Tag Team Championship Triple Threat ladder match, where only one member of each team was representing themselves. John Morrison defended against Kofi Kingston and Jimmy Uso, and John Morrison did win. Did you like the spot in the end with the grabbing the belt?
Yeah, this was the best match on the card for me of night one. This was the best match of the night for me.
It was the best match in an arena.
Action, athleticism. Obviously, I like all that athleticism and the high flying, and I enjoy ladder matches anyway. So maybe I am being a bit biased, but to me, that was the best match of the night.
Oh no, I'll agree with you there. I did like Becky and Shayna, but I will say, when it came to this match, this was my favourite so far because the three of them really tried to do the spots that they would do if there were 80,000 people there, and unfortunately they were robbed of a couple of oohs and ahs and applauses and this is awesome that they should have gotten.
Yes, absolutely, performance-wise, this was the best match. Definitely.
Did you get a chance to see Morrison and Miz's rap video as well that they did before this?
Yeah, I did.
It's a little bit dad, wasn't it? It was a little bit like kind of like what white guys did back in the 80s when they just everyone tried to do a rap video. But it was for what it was okay.
And I enjoyed the talking during the match. I think all the superstars had been told to make a bit more noise and a bit more trash talking in the ring just to fill out some of the empty sound. But in this match particularly, I loved the talking between. Yeah,
I like Kofi and Jimmy.
Yeah, that's mainly what I'm talking about. I must say, over both nights of WrestleMania, I did not hear any calling spots in the ring. I did not hear any of that, and I normally do with 80,000 people in the arena. So I don't know if they've had a chance to rehearse or make cuts. Or
maybe it was just more laid out, almost scripted as much as you can script the wrestling match. Maybe it was maybe there were no surprises, because usually when you call it in the ring, you're reacting to a live crowd. There was no live crowd to react to, so maybe they just need to script everything out, and you can't really call it in the ring when you don't know what the reaction is at home. But John Morrison retaining the tag title. It's good to see that Miz and Morrison will still be tag champs. Don't know when we'll see the Miz again. But good. I'm happy for Morrison and Miz. All right.
What I didn't like about that, though, is JBL saying, you'd never get 3 better athletes than these 3. Now, those 3 athletes are great, but you can't take away the Jeff Hardys and the Edges and the Christians and the Dudleys and the Shawn Michaels, and you can't say that those three in particular. There's no better threesome than those to put on a ladder.
I never take anything JBL says to heart because I actually recently rewatched Undertaker and Roman Reigns, which we actually went to, but for the first time actually watching it with the commentary and everything, and it's just another thing where JBL just says things, where he doesn't necessarily expect to be held accountable for them. I wouldn't take what he said to heart. I think he just tries to sell whatever is going on right now as the best thing that's ever happened in pro wrestling, which I guess is a bit disingenuous.
Yeah, there was another comment, I think, by Michael Cole. I can't remember what match it was about, but he said something like, this is the most personal rivalry in WrestleMania history, or personal match in... it was something that was so not...
it wasn't Daniel Bryan.
I really can't remember, but it was definitely something... I think it was Night 2.
Yeah.
But it was nothing. It was so nothing. It was like, shut up.
Yeah, I know. I think they have been told... I actually spoke with my brother about this. I think they were told to make this seem like it's the best WrestleMania ever, to compensate for the fact that there was no crowd.
Yeah.
Like, I think they were told to hype everything. Everything was the most amazing moment you've ever seen. Which brings us to our next pointless thing, Rob Gronkowski and Mojo Rawley and R-Truth for the 24/7 championship.
Oh yeah, don't give a shit. Rob Gronkowski was just pointless. Why was he there?
Well, it's because they signed him, I think. I don't know. If this is what we're expecting, hopefully they just put him in matches and don't have him talk so much, because it really comes off cheesy. And
yeah,
he doesn't come off very genuine. He comes off, he comes off like Mojo Rawley comes off, like just a lot of hype, but really nothing is being said.
Yeah, he was terrible. And why was Mojo so involved?
Because
from the get-go, though, it might as well have been hosted by Mojo and Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah, I actually preferred, we'll get to it later, when Titus O'Neil to go mostly dudes, actually. Even though you only saw him maybe once or twice, I actually preferred Titus doing that. But okay, next match that was pretty good, actually, was Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins. There was not a hell of a lot going on until after they teased the DQ. And I was going, they're not going to do a DQ on WrestleMania. And they didn't. And Kevin Owens actually did a Shane O'Mac-esque spot, which has got to hurt a lot more when there's not 100,000 people screaming. What did you think of Owens and Rollins?
Yeah, I loved this from start to finish. I was looking forward to this anyway. Yeah, yes, I enjoyed the first match, and then the second no DQ match. I enjoyed every bit of this, really.
Yeah, I think the trash talking, this is like, to your point earlier, the trash talking kind of worked because these are two guys who talk trash anyway, especially Kevin Owens. So
yeah,
and you're able to hear everything they were saying to each other. Yeah, I enjoyed this.
I think the word bitch has been overused now in WWE, and it's even at WrestleMania it was overused.
And shit as well. Shit's being used a lot now. Bullshit.
Good. That's good though. I'm glad they're branching back out into that.
If there are two people fighting, they're gonna swear at each other. Like if you watch UFC, that they swear at each other. Because you hate the guy. You're not gonna watch your language. All right. Yeah. So Owens defeated Rollins actually twice. I guess you just count one of them. But yeah, Owens beating Rollins by pinfall after the stunner. Right, let's move on to the. This was the last match, I think. I'm not wrong. Oh no, it wasn't. It was the second to last match, of course. The Universal Championship, Goldberg and Braun Strowman. As much as I love the fanfare around Goldberg, and when he comes out and he looks intense and he stares another guy down, I like all of that. I am getting very sick of the Goldberg match, and I don't think that's entirely Goldberg's fault. But just the spear, jackhammer, I'm done. I'm really done. I think we need to give Goldberg a little bit of a break. And if you've heard the backstage news, I don't think we'll be seeing Goldberg for a while, actually.
Yeah, I kind of agree, but I agree with the exact same thing is happening in Lesnar matches at WrestleMania.
Yes.
Finish times 3, kick out times 2, and
the
other guy finish times 3. They're happening way too often now.
It's lazy. It's just very lazy booking. Lesnar does not need to have that type of match. Maybe Goldberg does, and hey, Goldberg's in his 50s and he's in tremendous shape and everything. Goldberg needs to have that match. I'm okay with that. He's earned the right to do that. Lesnar is a much better wrestler than they give him credit for in these matches. And I watched the 24 for last year's WrestleMania just recently, and of course it showed the Seth Rollins. And it seems like the Seth Rollins Brock Lesnar match from last year was almost the exact same as the Brock Lesnar match from this year.
Yeah, that's why it's annoying.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Reigns would have done the same thing with Goldberg.
I think Reigns would have got more of his finishes in. The fact that Braun only beat Goldberg with one of his power slams, I mean, ultimately it's good because you don't want to see it repeated, but I think Reigns would have done a couple of spears at least, some Superman punches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even when Goldberg faced Taker, you could tell that although what happened, you could tell that it wasn't going to be that type of match. Like they were intending to have a 5-10 minute match there.
Undertaker doesn't do matches like that. Really. So Goldberg, I think, would have stepped up to the challenge of being in there with someone like Undertaker, who doesn't want to have that type of match. And plus, he can't be too brutal with Undertaker, as we know. Yeah. But with Strowman, you can, and with Reigns, you can. What do you think about them just putting the title on Strowman in place of Roman Reigns?
It was inevitable. Strowman was going to be facing Reigns straight after Mania anyway.
Do you think he would have beaten him for the belt, though?
I don't know, but it's fine. Strowman, this is long overdue.
He does deserve it, definitely.
Absolutely hate the way it's gone down. Like, hype, just random as fuck, but that's circumstances, isn't it?
I know. It pissed Goldberg off to the point where he shoved Vince McMahon backstage and Vince told him to get the hell out.
Really? I didn't hear any of that.
Yeah, well, this is apparently, again, I watched a YouTube video, so I take it all with a grain of salt, but apparently after the tapings, Goldberg was very pissed off with the fact that he had to drop it to Strowman with no build. I think mainly he wanted to drop it to Roman Reigns, like, because he said the only reason he came back and agreed to do this because he actually wanted to face Roman Reigns, which is quite nice in a way that he wanted to put over a young guy. And of course, it was changed last minute. And so Goldberg's idea was, okay, if you insist on doing WrestleMania, even though you shouldn't, if you insist on it, how about I beat Strowman, we go to SummerSlam, Reigns beats me there. Vince basically said that he can't afford Goldberg, he can't afford to keep Goldberg on, so he had no interest in renewing Goldberg's contract to extend it. And Goldberg got pissed off somewhere in there. He shoved Vince, and Vince basically just told him to leave. I don't think it will necessarily be the end for Goldberg, because Vince does tend to forgive and forget, especially if it comes to a wrestler who draws money. I mean, Hogan did a lot of stuff, and Hogan's still there.
I don't know if this is a popular opinion, but I agree with Goldberg on that front completely.
I think they should have postponed anyway.
Especially if they are planning on having any type of off season, Goldberg should have beat Strowman, and then say they had 3 months off, he just sits at home with the title and comes back one night, SummerSlam, and gets beat. So I completely agree with Goldberg on that. Am I happy Strowman has finally got a title win? Yes. I hate the way it went down, and I think Strowman is one of those guys that deserved a bigger moment for his first title win.
I think Goldberg also said something about how he didn't actually want to drop it to Strowman, and I don't know the way this was reported. It didn't come off whether it was just in the way that Strowman had been booked that he didn't think maybe Strowman deserved it, just due to recent booking, which you could agree with. Or whether he actually doesn't like Strowman, which I don't. Like.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll move on. So Strowman defeated Goldberg to win the title. It is good to see Strowman as champion. I certainly hope it's not a transitional reign.
What do you think about them advertising like Money in the Bank and stuff during these times? Like,
I was gonna ask you that as well. We're on the same page. I couldn't believe it.
I couldn't believe it either.
Could not believe it. And it said streaming live on the WWE Network. So, which would imply that they haven't taped it, but maybe they have. But another pay-per-view now with no.
No, I read today. That after last night's Raw, they're going back to live. They're going back to live tapings now. So as of SmackDown this week, there's no off-season or anything. They're back to live. They're not pre-recording it. They are live on Friday night.
They were.
Apparently, Vince has absolutely no intention of. Apparently, they've set up like a secret facility as well, or Vince has another facility in mind. If Orlando are going to extend their lockdown rules, Vince will just move. That's how stubborn this country is.
The problem is when you get. Of course, it's not all people that get to that age, but some people do just. They get up into their 70s, nearly 80s, and just think, fuck the world, don't care. And it depends if we know all these wrestlers are not. I mean, we don't even have testing yet, do we? So, or at least we don't have it everywhere. So how do we know that none of these people have the COVID-19? I mean, we don't know what they've been doing. Hopefully, they've been staying at home. I would assume most of them are, but. Now you're going to bring them back together after you've separated them, and they've been out into their own homes amongst their own families who could have it, and now you're going to. It's really, and honestly, these empty arena shows are getting really draining. Like Raw this week, again, not to spoil it, but just whatever. I didn't care for a lot of it. I did not care. I guess we'll talk about it more once you've watched it another time. But whatever. I'm done. Just there's too much. There's too much. I do like the Street Profits, but there's just too much of them on TV as well, and you just start to get sick of people. And it's obviously just who they had available for the taping.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely.
Well, now we'll move on to certainly a much happier case and a much more pleasant match in general. Just something that everybody enjoyed. The Boneyard match was very, very well done. Very well done. Undertaker, of course, and AJ Styles. They did this completely away from the arena, and it was a completely, not pretending to be live at all. It was completely done like a vignette or people are saying cinematic style. I loved everything from the way the Undertaker entered, from the way Undertaker was just talking shit back to AJ Styles. Something that just made me laugh was when AJ went, "Hey, does your wife know you're out this late?" And he just went, "Yeah, she does." I just made me laugh. I love Undertaker. He was making some really goofy faces when he was selling in this match, but I just love it. This made him look.
You dug your own grave, pal.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. It just made him look like $1 million. And this might be his last match, or it is his last match. Apparently, of course, we always take that with a grain of salt with Undertaker.
No, I don't believe that.
But apparently there are rumors that because obviously they're then previewed on the network, and I watched it was like the first look thing of the Undertaker documentary leading up to his last match or whatever it's supposed to be about. So I do believe that this may have been his last match. Now, as annoying as it is to not have his last match in the ring, which it totally should be, he looked great. And also, if you notice, at one point now, it could have been a slip-up, he actually said, of course, at first he said, when you've had a 30 career like me, wherever he said, you've been around 30 years, it's harder to keep me down. Then later he said, a career that I've had. So I don't know. Again, it could have just been a throwaway line, but it seems like this may be his last match.
That was a throwaway line.
Yeah, it could be.
There is absolutely no way they will end Undertaker like that.
The only problem with it, of course, is that it was a pre-tape. Everything was pre-tape, but of course it was completely a video. Like we'll talk about later with the Firefly Funhouse match. It was a complete video, something you couldn't do live in the movie. But Undertaker looked fantastic. He really did.
Do you think the match? Do you think the match would have been in the arena?
It wouldn't have been anywhere near as good if it was. I mean, I don't know. I would assume not, because
I think if it was
this match, which implies that it's not in the arena.
I think if it was in the arena, Taker would have lost, and that might well have been his last match, being buried alive.
Yeah. Well, if you remember, the Boneyard match wasn't actually announced until they weren't in Boneyard Live. So at first it was just, I think maybe they would have just done a singles match. And like you said, maybe AJ would have beat Undertaker. But then I think once they realised they couldn't do that, then they got the idea for this Boneyard match. A couple of good things. I liked the initial thing with AJ, where you thought it might have been Undertaker arriving in a casket as the Undertaker that we're used to in the last couple of years, and not the American Badass, but no, in fact it was AJ Styles just taking the piss. I thought all that was good. Undertaker's entrance on the motorcycle was fantastic. He really is a badass in real life. That's how. That's why it's so believable. Came out to
It was just that bit where the camera like panned up on both of them, and then their name came up beside of them while they were stood still, and I don't know how to feel about.
Some of it was goofy. Some of it was goofy. Let's be honest. Yeah.
It's were they going for a wrestling match or were they going for a film, an action film? It depends what they were going for and what they were trying to achieve. I don't know. I mean, that question got answered later with the Firefly Funhouse. I think clearly they went for videos on these two matches. They went for video packages just to show. I mean, it is a pretty good way of them just kind of boasting what they can do video-wise. We've always known they've been amazing with video packages and editing, and I think this kind of redeems them for that Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt match from a couple of years ago. Wasn't particularly great. Ultimately, I loved the Boneyard match, but I had a couple problems with it.
Yeah.
I hated these sound effects being added to the punches like they do in film. I didn't like that at all. Having Badass Taker come back and then he had magic powers, I wasn't sure about.
It's a mishmash of all the Undertakers, I think.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about that. Obviously, I loved having Badass back because that's just our era and our nostalgia. Yeah. So, but yeah, I didn't like him having super magic powers and stuff.
Obviously, they Druids actually.
Yeah, sorry. I like that bit. Yeah, I like the Druids.
The Druids actually turning on Undertaker.
Yeah, and that was obviously a ploy by the club, but
yeah,
I did like that. Like I said to you before, I was so into this match the same way I'd been into any streak match ever, and I was like pulling my hair out and literally on the edge of my seat, like looking at the TV. So I was like, oh, when all those Druids came out and circled him, I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, he's gonna lose.
There was a couple of moments, because I watched it live with my brothers. A couple of moments there, the drama was that they managed to get the wrestling match drama into this video package.
I agree. I agree.
This video package had false finishes, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I really liked it when Taker was in the grave and he was about to get buried, but I knew in my heart that he wasn't. Yeah, see, again, I love that he had a comeback there in the match, but I don't know how I feel about that magic. Yeah, but
I mean, in fairness, that is something he's done.
Visually, it was wicked, but logically, I don't know.
It's not too bad because that's something he has done live as well, so it's not like they're relying too much.
It would be pretty impressive if they did that in the arena, from him to go missing from the grave.
Oh yeah, they would be. That was, of course, they took advantage of a lot of things they couldn't do. I mean, some of the bumps that they were taking, you could clearly tell, like Gallus and Anderson went off screen for some of the bumps. There was probably a crash net there. Like there was a lot of cinema to it, which is good. So. Yeah, overall, I would say this was a really fantastic match. A lot of people are saying it was the best match. It probably was the best match on night one, definitely. Maybe of the whole thing.
I still think the ladder match was the best performance-wise, since we're looking at a wrestling event here.
Oh, yeah.
But I cannot help how invested I was in the Taker match, and how there's no way you can underappreciate how well it was done and delivered for what they were going for.
I want them to make a movie with Undertaker as the star and like have an action movie like that, because he just looked like it. But I would watch 90 minutes of him beating the crap out of.
Yeah, and it was quite a long match. Obviously, I'm sure there was tons of cuts where
I think it ran about 23 minutes or something.
Yeah, where they could have caught their breath. I'm sure there was loads of cuts and stuff while they did some of the stunts and stuff.
Oh yeah, there were a couple of cuts. You could see, like when Undertaker went down the ladder, they kind of cut a little bit.
Yeah. Like there was actually, and I did notice a mistake actually when Undertaker went to pick up the shovel. If you watch it back, he actually walked in the wrong direction, and then the next cut was him picking up the shovel.
Okay.
So there was actually a little editorial mistake in there.
Oh, I missed that. I watched it back there. I missed that one. Damn. But yeah, no, that was a great match, and that does bring it end to night one of WrestleMania. Definitely closing on a strong match there. Definitely made you want to watch
Just another point as well. I think Taker's going to go out at Survivor Series. If they know what they're doing, he'll go out at Survivor Series.
But as long as, however they do it, however they book it, I just want it to be as good. I know it's not going to be the same, but I want it to be as good. And if that means you have to just have a similar thing to when Undertaker faced Cena at Mania, he just does his moves, looks like $1 million and wins in like 5 minutes. I don't need to see him out there for 30 minutes in pain or anything like that.
Yeah.
I just want to see it. Yeah, I do want to see him have a great match, have a good match. So however they do that.
Yeah, well, it'll be Taker Hogan at Survivor Series.
Okay, so I definitely have to pre-film that. Moving on to night 2, Sunday night. Kickoff show, Liv Morgan and Natalya. Not much to say here, but Liv Morgan did get the win, so
I didn't watch this.
Sign.
I didn't watch this, but yeah, I'm invested in Liv at the minute. So how did she get on performance-wise?
No, she did good. She did well. She was kind of giving Natalya some shit, and Natalya was trying to kind of fuck with her a little bit, but ultimately, I believe Liv Morgan outsmarted her with a roll-up. Yeah.
Oh, so she won by a roll-up.
Yeah, she kind of just outsmarted her, but it was clever, and you could tell Natalya was pissed off, right? And then Liv Morgan does wrestle on Raw as well, so they are definitely pushing Liv Morgan, which is
good. I really like her.
I was watching stuff like with her on Up, Up, Down, Down. If you ever get a chance to see that, she's such a sweetheart. She's so likable.
Yeah, I've seen on the last season of Total Divas, she was a sweetheart as well. And
yeah, I just like her.
Just
she's
a nice girl.
Silly and she's younger than us, which is depressing. But
yeah, I know.
So then we open WrestleMania Night 2 with Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. Now this was a good match. This was a really good back and forth match. It really showed what Rhea Ripley can do. And I would assume now that the belt's off, they are going to put Rhea Ripley on the main roster. I thought she did very well. I thought Charlotte did well as the heel. Kind of essentially, Rhea Ripley's character's quite tough, but Charlotte was trying to push her around and bully her, and the figure fours and all that stuff, and like really, getting her leg and really working on her leg for the figure four. It was a really well done, gritty women's match. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I agree. Another great, strong opening to Mania by the women.
It was,
and it was a good physical match. This is what I expected from them too, I think.
What do you think
is
going to happen? Do you think Charlotte's going to go permanently to NXT, or is she just going to be kind of appearing sporadically?
No, she said she wants to... what's the word? What's the fucking word? She wants to...
What? Go there permanently, or not? Or
no,
be on all the brands?
She wants to represent NXT on all 3 brands.
Okay, that's fair.
That's what she said.
That's fine. Yeah, well, that's good. We'll see what. So Charlotte did appear on Raw. She didn't say much about what she's going to do, but she just kind of bragged about how.
But yeah, it was a good physical match. I did enjoy it, and it was like 20-25 minute match.
Yeah, it was long.
By the way, what the fuck was with the 11-minute video package that opened WrestleMania Night 1?
Did they play the same thing on Night 2, by the way?
No, because it was shorter, but it was 11 minutes before we even went to the arena on Night 1.
No. I knew it was long, I didn't know it was that long. And I couldn't really, because the guy was kind of quiet when we were watching on TV. I didn't really hear a lot of what he said, but it was ridiculous. And I think they were just doing everything to limit you seeing that there's no crowd, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. That's something they wouldn't do. Speaking of something they probably wouldn't do if it wasn't a desperate situation, Aleister Black faced Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania. Not much happened here.
Just a filler match this was, and the only thing interesting was the ending.
Yeah.
Lana cost Bobby the match. That was
cool. She did. Yeah, she kind of gave him some bad advice, and then obviously he wasn't too pleased, and they may have a little bit of a rift there. I don't know ultimately what they're going to do with Lashley and Lana now that this storyline seems to be over, or maybe once they're all back, Rusev will get involved again, because we haven't seen Rusev, have we?
No, I don't know what's going on there.
But yeah, Aleister Black did beat Bobby Lashley, and that you can tell they are giving Aleister Black a push, and I just hope that they don't, stop doing that because I see there's definitely potential for Aleister Black. I liked him in the match with AJ Styles, where Undertaker got involved. I kind of like seeing Undertaker and Aleister Black in the same ring, and it'd be interesting to see if Undertaker stops wrestling, maybe he could endorse Aleister Black in some way. It'd be quite nice. We move on to the next match then. I enjoyed this. Obviously, wrestling-wise, it wasn't the best, but Otis and Dolph Ziggler, I like the storyline. I think it's cool. It's quite cute. I quite liked it. And Otis kind of got his at the end, and Mandy came out to make sure Otis didn't get screwed. What did you think?
I think I'm a bit like you. I'm a lot more invested in the storyline than the match itself. I was watching the match, waiting for what was going to happen. Mandy Rose wise, that's it really. I love the storyline. I continue to love the storyline.
I'm going to give props to Dolph Ziggler as much as we shit on him, and it's more just the way he's been booked to the point where we don't want to see him. It's not even really his fault. It's just that he's so unbelievable as a contender for a world championship now, just because of the way that every time he goes for it, something happens, he doesn't get it. But as a heel and as like a school bully type, or just a cool kid who picked on the fat kid, I thought Dolph Ziggler did a great job of being a real piece of shit in this storyline.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
and I would like to, hopefully they find something to do for Ziggler. Maybe it might be time to move Ziggler to a non-wrestling role. He'd be fantastic on commentary. As a color commentator, he'd be absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, can't disagree.
So Otis gets the win there, and we move on to a match where I thought, I'll be honest, it dragged a little bit for me, but I did like what they were doing. I thought they were very creative. You can tell, obviously, Edge is a fantastically creative person. I watched his 24 after night 1 of WrestleMania or night 2, whenever it aired. Edge, you can tell Edge has such a passion for wrestling, and I feel bad because Edge should have got his return in front of a crowd who was screaming for him like the Royal Rumble. However, they worked with what they had. The stuff in the gym was cool, and Randy Orton kind of saying to Edge how this is for his own good, and how, okay, I'm going to send you back to the girls, really showed you how much of a demented maniac Randy Orton is, and Edge kind of match. We all know Edge can go to a psychotic level as well, and I thought for what it was a good match. And Edge, of course, did get the win and did get his vindication, so it'd be interesting to see. Hopefully, obviously, now we just save it for when we're back in arenas. I don't think we need to waste Edge's time until we're back in arenas to see Edge again.
Yeah. With this match, again, I'm like you. I love that they didn't go in the ring. I really liked that they just used their surroundings, something they probably wouldn't have done as much.
They wouldn't have done it as much, yeah.
I love that they went in every room and used whatever, this, that, and the other. The match was definitely the longest of the night and didn't need to be that long because not a lot was happening until kind of last 10 minutes or so. I must say, I thought the storytelling in this match was off the chart. I thought Randy Orton was incredible storytelling.
No, Randy Orton, Randy Orton,
he is incredible. The storytelling was just fantastic. I think that's what saved the longevity of the match, actually being quite boring.
I think Randy Orton will go down in history as one of the best heels ever, and of course Edge will as well. Randy Orton, we need to see this from Randy Orton kind of more often, but I do think, in fairness, you need someone who brings out that passion in Randy Orton. It needs to be someone who's as good as Randy Orton to do that. So I think we should maybe just get Orton in some feuds with some people that are as good as him, so you can really work with him.
Yeah, the finish to the match, and when I say finish, I mean the last kind of 3 minutes, actually. I class
it all on top of the car.
Yeah, it was just great, and it was emotional, and I loved that Edge couldn't look at him when he swung the chair for the concerto, and then while his music was playing, he got down and hugged him and stuff. It
Yeah,
It was great storytelling. It was proper soap opera stuff.
it was because you could kind of tell like the way, and that's just what I love because that Edge, especially from like listening to his podcast and stuff. For me, Edge cares a hell of a lot about wrestling and storytelling, and obviously so does Randy Orton. So Edge, is the character. I think what Edge was going for was that he wanted to punish Randy Orton for what he did because Randy Orton needed to be punished, but also he understands that Randy Orton's kind of insane. And maybe Randy Orton does think in his twisted little mind that he's doing the right thing. So maybe Edge felt kind of bad because he's beating up on someone who's not all there mentally. It was all told beautifully.
Yeah, it really was. The only thing I do question after watching, I didn't question it going in, but after having watched it, I did think, regardless of fans there or not, was a last man standing match the right idea for Edge's return match? I don't think it gave Edge a lot of opportunity to really show us he can wrestle, especially for those kids that are like 6, 7, 8 years old. I haven't seen it.
But I think maybe it might have been done by design to kind of show that maybe they weren't 100% sure on what Edge can do still in the ring. So maybe they just kind of gave him a bit of a crutch. They're like, well, if Edge doesn't feel like doing so many moves, he can use a chair and stuff. And then I think they were planning to get to singles matches where Edge would just have a great classic. And maybe
that's
also
what I want to see from Edge now.
Yeah, and maybe also because it wasn't in an arena. Same with the Undertaker. They have these guys that have been injured, and they know that without the adrenaline shot of the crowd, you're just kind of feeling every bump. And if you're kind of fragile, even though Edge is not anymore, if you've been injured, it might be better to give you something where it doesn't hurt as much. You don't have to keep taking repeated bumps in the ring, I guess, maybe. Yeah. I think we'll see Edge have those matches where there are no weapons, where we know Edge can deliver a great match. And we'll move on to... I
suppose the stipulation wasn't added until they knew WrestleMania was going to be where it was anyway, I suppose. So maybe it wasn't going to be a last man standing match.
Yeah, I think it would have had to have had some kind of no DQ stipulation, though, because of how... I mean, it started with chairs. You can't have it not involve chairs.
Yeah. I love the start to the match as well. Very predictable, but you would...
The RKO when he ran in
and see it.
I didn't realise that he was the cameraman. I didn't realise that he was the cameraman until they replayed it. That was quite clever. He was just standing there and they just put the camera down on RKO, and that was cool. So as we move on then, not much happened here. More 24/7 stuff. Nobody really cares. So Mojo Rawley initially got the 24/7.
That wasn't social distancing, was it?
None of it's social distancing. None of it.
Yeah, but that was bad.
Yeah, there's
unnecessary.
Yeah, I guess so. That's true. So I guess initially we didn't mention earlier, not that it matters too much. Rawley stole a pin from Gronkowski. I don't like that R-Truth can be beaten with a shitty fucking forearm. The way R-Truth has been beaten for some of these times, I know it's all comedy, but I think R-Truth deserves a little bit better than getting beat by a forearm to the chest. Yeah. So initially Rawley stole the pin from Gronkowski, then Gronkowski beat Rawley later and ran out of the arena, then replaced by Titus O'Neil, who you only saw about once, I think, maybe. Raw Tag Championships were on the line. The Street Profits faced Angel Garza and Austin Theory. Don't know much about Austin Theory or Angel Garza, really. For what it was just fine. It was a tag match.
It was just a short match, and the Street Profits are great. Yeah,
I like the Street Profits a lot, but unfortunately, like I said, I'm just getting sick of seeing them so much, and it's not their fault either. But they work better with a crowd, and there's no crowd to like hold up their red solo cups. And all
it was a fine match. I'm glad it didn't go any longer than it did. It was fine.
Yeah, I think. And of course we saw. After the match, Theory and Garza were attacking the Street Profits, and then Zelina Vega, Zelina Vega kind of slapped Montez Ford, which he's married to Bianca Belair, so Bianca Belair came out and scared off Zelina Vega. So I think obviously Bianca Belair. Sorry, I can't talk today. Bianca Belair is of course now on the main roster, so it'll be interesting to see how she mixes it up with the rest of the women.
Is she?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So
Cool. She looks. Yeah, I'm excited about that. I think she's going to be great. She looks great. The gimmick looks great. A little bit like, kind of a hint of Sasha Banks in there. A little bit.
yeah, bit of that attitude.
Yeah, a bit of swag and stuff. Yeah, I think she's going to be great. The character's there already.
Yeah, she's got a lot of personality. She's great. SmackDown Women's Championship. Speaking of the women, we got Bayley. She defended against Sasha, Lacey Evans, Tamina, and Naomi. It was a fine elimination match. Again, I think maybe they should have showed us that triple threat on SmackDown because we kind of saw what it was with them mixing up. Maybe they should have just saved it. But this was a good match. It was a good match, yeah, definitely. I don't think anything particularly interesting happened until they started teasing that Sasha and Bayley were going to fight each other. And that was done well, with Bayley kind of trying to shove Sasha out of the way of the women's right, but inadvertently ended up having a catch it and knocked out and didn't stop the pin, because obviously Bayley was kind of wanting to retain the title for herself. Naomi was good in the match, of course. Tamina, if they can't just...
Tamina
it's in and out with Tamina. I think, she's not a great wrestler, but they booked her like a monster, and if they kept doing that, I don't want to see her every week. But she looked good in this match. She looked good in this match. She did.
She did. I just think she looks so out of place. I don't think she can hang with anyone. I don't know why.
I reacted. Yeah, it was a weird reaction I had when they added Tamina to they could have just done a fatal 4-way.
Yeah, I don't like Tamina.
I think Lacey Evans did well in this match.
What kind of asset is Tamina to anything? Nothing.
Well, I think initially she was a monster heel, and then I think they just kind of ruined it. they just, and I think
at least Nia Jax fits in.
Yeah, Nia Jax is younger as well, so she kind of fits in with that crowd now. I do think, notably as well, Lacey Evans did a good job as a baby face. It would have been great to see her sort of play to a crowd, and to the point where I did think she may have actually won. One thing I didn't like, though, in this match is that she obviously had her arm work done, and then she was still able to kind of do that handstand that she does on the top rope that leads into that Bronco Buster thing. And then she sold her arm after that, but I felt like you wouldn't be able to do that if your arm was that weak. That was my only problem with her.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But it was a good story they told, and Bayley kind of snuck out. I mean, she won, but she kind of snuck out once again of WrestleMania with the title, so it'll be interesting to see what they do with Bayley as well.
Again, this was a match I was looking at for the story between Sasha. Yeah. If that story wasn't there, the match it didn't hype that enough interest.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because it's been like 2 days since I've seen the match, and the only thing I could remember is the story. Things with Lacey. So with some of these matches, forgive us. Next time we'll probably do it a little bit sooner, but that's also my fault for just forgetting things so easily. Sometimes I just forget things. As we move on now to one of the main events, one of the attractions from SmackDown, I thought this was really good. The Firefly Funhouse Match. Before we get into it, I wonder how they'll spin it for the future, or if when Cena comes back he just won't mention it. Because are they going to spin it like this was all a dream, or Cena was possessed? Because the fact that obviously Cena was working alongside Wyatt with some of this stuff does seem a little bit unrealistic. But it was really, really well done. There was a lot of references to the internet and to just old school WWE stuff, and to John Cena's career as well. And Bray Wyatt got the win, which was good, which I thought he was going to, especially after losing to Goldberg last time. I thought Cena was great. Obviously, Cena's doing really well in acting, and Cena's a very funny guy. So Cena did as well. I thought Bray Wyatt was pretty funny as a mental case in this match as well. What did you think?
I hated every single minute of it.
Oh, you didn't like it? Okay.
No.
Why?
As good of an actor as Cena is, I actually thought he was shockingly shit in this match, and I'm shocked that Cena did a match like this, if I'm quite honest.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't acting as much as trying to do his kind of crazy, kooky comedy.
Yeah, his acting when Bray like disappeared and stuff, absolutely dreadful, terrible.
Well, I just thought he seemed to not react. Like, it didn't seem that he was acting. Kind of similarly on SmackDown, when the puppets appeared, he just kind of stands there with a straight face, which I also think is good, because I don't think right now he's probably not the most amazing actor in the world. If he tried to do anything more than that, it would have looked really, really cheesy.
But that was good. Everything that's happened on SmackDown in the lead up to this has been fantastic. That is why it's so annoying that it was so shit. Because Cena on SmackDown just gone was amazing.
Yeah, he was
incredible. And then we get.
But I kind of like.
What the fuck is that?
Did you like what they did with taking the audio of Cena saying how he's going to get rid of the most overhyped superstar and actually using that over the finish? So it was like, yeah, we're going to get rid of the most overhyped superstar. It's you, John Cena. Even though it's
I like
not.
That was fine.
I thought that was.
That's just a touch, but that doesn't justify the match being that at all.
The only problem I have is I just don't know how they're going to justify.
Well, I mean, what
Cena
was
acting
it?
like that?
It was like a short film that was open for interpretation.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. And there was a lot of those. It was just jam packed with references to the past, and even
there was
internet
a lot of
things.
Yeah,
like Vince saying that's good shit. That's something Dean Ambrose complained about after leaving WWE. How he would just say things like, "That's good shit. That's so you," with some of these angles that Dean Ambrose didn't want to do. So I think that was a reference to that, which is quite cool that they would do a reference like that, considering Ambrose isn't there anymore.
I don't get the Saturday Night Main Event bit.
I think they were referencing. I haven't seen what they were referencing, but I would assume that they were doing line for line a promo that happened.
All right, but it made no sense, and Cena doesn't have use of his arms and stuff.
No, that didn't.
And the NWO stuff, Cena has fuck all to do with the NWO. What
I think they were just doing. It seemed like they were just doing callbacks to things that happened in wrestling, like again with that Bray Wyatt thing. Obviously, he was doing line for line what Eric Bischoff said, because they cut in between the two. No, I don't know why. I'm just saying you have it's a great point. I don't know why. I'd love to speak with the writers of this, and I hope maybe at some point they do a shoot interview or something about it. I would love to know what.
Well, apparently the three people responsible for this was Michael Hayes, Bray Wyatt, and John Cena.
Okay.
Bray Wyatt came up with a lot of the creative, and apparently Cena stepped in and went and changed it for the better. Apparently, Cena did step in and went, "No, we're not doing this. Yeah, we're doing that. That'll better like this."
Okay.
I'm just shocked. Wouldn't you have preferred a match?
Yeah, but a match wouldn't have been as memorable. Like, I don't, especially just not with an empty arena like that.
This was Bray Wyatt's last chance, and they are fucked in.
I don't think so. I think they're still going to push him.
We thought the House of Horrors match was terrible.
Yeah.
The House of Horrors match I would watch 10 times over.
Oh, I disagree. The House of Horrors match was very boring, and I didn't like how they went into the arena. I didn't like the House of Horrors match at all.
It was horrific, but they wrestled, and I'd watch that. It makes you realise how, that was better than this.
I disagree with that being better, but I understand this wasn't a wrestling match. Maybe, and in fairness, it was advertised as a match, so I completely understand it. Yeah, like you felt like you were going to get a match and you didn't get a match. And again, I think the match wouldn't have been as memorable with no crowd. It wouldn't have been as good as the one at WrestleMania 30, where the crowd were completely on Bray Wyatt's side, and like there was the story they were telling there was with the crowd and everything.
But they did no wrestling. They did one little tiny bit and then the finish.
Yeah.
And what was it? Was Cena? Was it a dream?
It wasn't a match.
I'm like you. How are they going to get out of that and explain?
I don't know how they're going to get out of it. I think more than likely, knowing WWE, Cena's not going to appear again unless they're desperate ratings-wise, with there being no crowd. I think they'll try and save Cena for when there's a crowd again, because obviously then they can sell tickets based on John Cena appearing and draw money. I think for people like Cena and Edge, we're not going to see them again until there's a crowd. So I'm assuming Cena comes back and it doesn't get mentioned, which I don't like that. That's lazy storytelling. I would like an explanation. Maybe Bray Wyatt gives one on SmackDown. We haven't seen, obviously, SmackDown's not happened yet, so maybe Bray Wyatt.
So what, is Bray Wyatt just magic now, and he can put this spell on any of his opponents? If this is the case, then he could do this to every opponent and be fucking undefeated.
And just beat them, yeah.
Like, why wouldn't
he should have done it to Gold.
Yeah. Why wouldn't all of his matches be a Firefly Funhouse if he has this power?
No, I agree. I do understand.
It's terrible.
I look at it as a video presentation. As for what it was, if you showed me this, and I didn't know it was part of WrestleMania or not, and you just showed like this was something on the network that was like a goofy thing out of kayfabe. As far as the video package, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed some of the references. Didn't get all of them. Didn't get the Saturday night. Didn't really get the NWO one. But I saw what they were doing with mixing in the promo, so I just assumed that they were, of course, referencing them. Yeah. Okay. I'll agree with you. As a match, it wasn't a match. They're not going to be able to get out of it naturally, so Cena's just going to not mention it. I don't know what's going to happen with Bray Wyatt after this. You do bring up a good point. Like, yeah, if Wyatt can do this to everyone, then yeah, he should be undefeated. It's going to be interesting. I think as a standalone package, I think it was really good, and it was a really good video. But I'll agree with you in terms of I don't know how they're going to get out of it.
Yeah, it just shouldn't have took place at WrestleMania. I agree with you that if this had just been a goofy video that they put out on the network or on YouTube, then yeah, what an interesting watch, and it's kind of open for interpretation.
Yeah.
But they've displayed that at WrestleMania and called it a WrestleMania match. Yeah,
it wasn't a match. But the Boneyard match wasn't necessarily a match either, even though I guess it was. But I mean, both these matches had finishes, whether you want to call them finishes or not. But yeah,
I can only think that they did this to make the Boneyard match look better.
I don't think they did. I think they wanted. I assume they just want to make the Fiend look like somebody who we don't know what he's completely capable of. But it does open up plot holes for why he didn't just do that to Goldberg instead of dropping his title to him.
The only bit I enjoyed was the Doctor of Thugonomics, and that's because I love the Doctor of Thugonomics.
Yeah, I didn't think it was as good as last year's thing he did as the Doctor of Thugonomics. I liked him dressing in his first attire, and I liked the callback to Cena's first match. That was cool. And the Ruthless Aggression. And yeah, it's just weird that he must have been in a trance or something.
Yeah, I've even watched it back a second time, and admittedly, it was slightly better the second time. Maybe your thoughts got more interesting. Maybe you thought about it a little bit more. And yeah, I was trying to work out when Cena was actually Cena and when he was under the trance, and kind of worked out when he went to the ring as the prototype, that was him in the match, and then when he showed up as Dr. Thugonomics, it was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm here, but you've got this funny spell on me where I can only talk and rhyme.
Yeah.
And then I did enjoy the last 2 seconds of it where he was back to his normal kit and he was beating the fuck out of Bray Wyatt, but it wasn't Bray Wyatt. That was probably the best bit in it, and the Fiend was behind him. Those kind of 20 seconds, yeah, good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll agree to disagree on the quality of the match, whether it was a good match or not. Well, yeah, okay. Well, as a presentation, I liked it and I enjoyed watching it. However, yeah, I definitely agree with you that there are a ton of explanations that would have to happen. But let's move on now to the main event. Brock Lesnar and Drew McIntyre. We kind of touched on this earlier. It wasn't anything incredibly special. It was what it was. They got the title on Drew. I'm happy that Drew's got the title, and Drew did seem genuinely very, very happy to be the champion. And I like Drew McIntyre. I pretty much always liked Drew McIntyre. It was meh. The 3MB thing was meh. There was some funny parts of it, but even he would say that he doesn't want to be remembered for that.
Did you watch the Drew McIntyre documentary after night one?
I've not seen the Drew documentary yet. I've only seen the Edge one in the first 30 minutes of the Undertaker one. I will watch the Drew one.
The Drew one was just about it was good. It was just him talking, and obviously all the coronavirus stuff came up and how upset and sad and angry and pissed off he was.
Oh, okay. They mentioned that, didn't they?
Yeah, it was all about the pandemic, and he was in the UK. He was in the UK when Trump banned travel from Europe.
Oh.
And so WWE were like, get back now.
Oh, okay. He had to get.
So he was just down and pissed off, and then he came out the other side and started thinking about the bigger picture and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's one of those things, and I think we all feel like this. We want to be angry at something, and we want to, but you can't. It's a disease. It doesn't give a shit. So it's a virus, you know. So like, as much as we want to, like, hey, fuck you, give us our lives back, we can't. It doesn't give a shit, you know. Unfortunately, we all just have to stick with this together. I really wish WWE had been more responsible and just let's just have. I don't need 3 months of empty arena. You'll get the lowest ratings you ever get. Just come back in the summer with a live crowd or whenever it is. Look, everyone's going to suffer. Football over here in the UK is suffering majorly. Footballers are going to have to take pay cuts. Everyone's suffering. It sucks, but you can't just be stubborn old Vinnie Mac and just push ahead.
They should have returned in June with WrestleMania. I know practically there's a lot of issues that go into that. Like, can they get Cena? Can they get Goldberg at that time of year and stuff? But all of these people's lives are on hold as well. At the moment. Nothing's shooting. No movies are shooting or anything like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no one's doing anything. That's right. Yeah, no one's busy. Like it must be. The Rock must be at home just banging his head off the wall because The Rock's just so used to being so busy.
Yeah,
he must be like, oh my god.
But yeah, anyway, back to the match. The match was exactly what we expected it was going to be. Nothing special. Like we say, we're just sick of these same Brock Lesnar matches, and it's annoying because that's like that's very frequently now he's getting beat in the championship. Yeah. He got beat in the same way last WrestleMania, and whenever Roman Reigns beat him, was that SummerSlam? Yeah, SummerSlam. The SummerSlam before Seth beat him at Mania. He's just getting beat the same way.
And like Paul Heyman brought up on the Go Home Raw, and it was kind of interesting, and I guess we all knew this, but Brock is on the Go Home Raw for every Mania in the last couple of years. But that also kind of brings up the point that if you look at the Mania results, he ends up losing the title, kind of somehow getting it back, and then losing it in Mania again. So yeah, it doesn't make Brock. But Brock's kind of having the old Triple H syndrome of just being an amazing wrestler, but just if it was real, you'd just be so shit at WrestleMania. Like,
I mean, how long do you think it's going to be before they put it back on Brock?
When they get bored,
I'd say by the end of the year.
I don't think Drew's going to drop it to Brock. Somehow, I think someone else will, like whoever beats Drew will. If they're looking at Mania next year, which is in Hollywood, and they are gonna have to try and make it the best WrestleMania to make up for some of the stuff on this one. So yeah, I could see them putting the title back on Brock, but not much to say about this match. F5, they told a decent enough story. F5 kicks out of 1, F5 kicks out of 2. F5 kicks out 2 again. I mean, they tried to tell a story.
No story that we haven't seen before.
Yeah, I'm not saying they told an amazing story. I'm saying they told a story. A story was told. It may have been the 3 bears, but it was a story that was told.
Yeah, like back when Reigns beat him, like I could kind of believe, right? Yes, okay, we're sick of Brock Lesnar. All right, Reigns is trained enough and he's Superman enough to beat him. And I didn't. As much as I love Drew, I don't feel that way with him. Like, obviously he's big and he's tough, but I don't feel like he's
they've got a lot
like a super scene that can beat Lesnar like that.
That's also because as much as he's kind of getting the push now, I mean, if you look at his match last year, Roman Reigns beat him at WrestleMania last year, right? So like, he hasn't been overly pushed for that long. Like, I think maybe since around the summer last year, they really went, okay, we're gonna make him the guy.
Not even then. I think that's the issue. It's just come to my head now, but I don't think Drew has beaten enough big guys to warrant beating Brock Lesnar. That's the only thing. I'm glad he's got the title and everything.
Well, maybe they can make up for it in retrospect or in hindsight by actually now having him beat big wrestlers.
Yeah, he needs to beat Rollins and Cena's now. And I wouldn't mind Cena Drew at WrestleMania next year, actually, or something. Actually, yeah.
Well, Drew still have the belt maybe at WrestleMania next year. You know, like Becky's
probably not.
For a year. Yeah, you're right. Unless they move Brock to SmackDown, which I could see them doing, to maybe put that belt on him.
Oh no.
I know.
No.
They've already done it, but they've already done everything with Brock.
Yeah, they've done everything.
But that does bring
Go
it close. That brings it close to WrestleMania. What's your opinion on the whole 2-night spectacle as a whole? There?
I commend them. I must admit, I commend all the wrestlers for going out there and giving us a show, because they must be thinking all of these things as well. They must be thinking, "Oh man, it's gonna be so fucking shit." The audience they're gonna be sitting at home thinking, "Oh, this is shit" and stuff. And so yeah, ultimately, I commend every one of them for going out there and giving us a show. It did keep us entertained and our minds off having no job and no life at the minute.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a good distraction from what's going on. It was must-see TV, because WrestleMania is always must-see.
I definitely like that they've took advantage of things, of circumstances that they wouldn't normally have with a crowd there. So I like that they've done video packages. Well,
Yeah, and I
the
think
Boneyard match, and I like that they've wrestled around the arena, and yeah, I like a lot of it.
I think, yeah, the Boneyard match and the Firefly Funhouse, they probably wouldn't have done 2 video matches with a live crowd, just because, with a live crowd, they tend to obviously prefer live action, even though the Boneyard match was excellent.
And I do like that they've tried out the 2-night thing, knowing that they don't have to ask fans to come Saturday and Sunday night. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah. Definitely.
ultimately, I think I stick with it. Should have been postponed, but it was a fine Mania. It was fine.
It's not. It's not up there. It's not up there in general. It's going to be.
You look at the card and you think, wow, that would have actually been insane if it did go to plan.
Oh yeah, of course. That's fine. And I think the good thing about Mania is that, of course, they always tend to do rematches. They could easily do Edge and Orton when they get back to a live crowd. They could easily drag that feud back. And even Undertaker and AJ Styles could have a singles match. I mean, they used to. SummerSlam was always famous for doing return matches from WrestleMania. So if we are back up and running with crowds and everything by SummerSlam, they should take the best couple of matches from Mania and have them at SummerSlam.
Well, apparently Trump has told all of the big kind of sports promoters in the US that he doesn't think stadiums and arenas are going to be filled until September at the earliest.
Okay, well that's.
So
but maybe they could do SummerSlam.
It looks like SummerSlam's going to be the PC center with it back.
But like you said, stadiums, because the PC only lets in a couple hundred people, could they have people there for SummerSlam at the PC?
Yeah, maybe.
Obviously, not going to be as good as normal, but I mean, still, those NXT shows do tend to, when the crowd really brings it, those NXT shows do tend to have great reactions.
Yeah.
That does bring an end to our WrestleMania review. My opinion of it was very similar to Cam's in that, not the most memorable Mania in retrospect, but in other ways, I guess it is one of the most memorable Manias. I would like to see them, as I said, do a couple of return matches. But yeah, they did the best with what they had, and they did still manage to get people talking about some things at WrestleMania. So you got to give it to them.
It was the most social event ever, wasn't it? Most
apparently there were
history.
Yes, apparently there were 14 million social interactions.
But there would be, because everyone's at home.
Of social media. Yes, of course. 14 million. I don't think 14 million people watched it live at least.
Do you know one thing I giggled at a couple of times? I did feel bad for the wrestlers. Like, do you know how distracting it must have been? Like Michael Cole doing his normal volume of commentary, and obviously
they did. They showed a replay. They showed a replay one time, and you could hear Cole screaming in the replay.
Yeah, if you watch it back, there's more than one of those replays, and I think the only person that actually acknowledged it was Bayley when she got knocked out the ring. I think
shut up or something.
Michael Cole said something like, "Oh, and Banks and Bayley nearly got eliminated," or something like that. Yeah, and then Bayley was like, "No, we didn't." It's just hilarious.
Yeah, Bayley's been funny with Michael Cole on SmackDown. Yeah,
obviously the commentators have been told to just do it as is, and the rest of them will try and ignore it. I know it will be distracting, like having your every move commented on. But yeah, it's just hilarious.
Yeah. So overall, I think definitely the most interesting more intriguing Mania in recent memory. But I long for the days of when this can all be over. We can get wrestling shows in front of live crowds, and we can just all go back to our daily lives in general. And hopefully, we get to go to WrestleMania next year and can give a more in-depth analysis, and we can actually maybe do it live from Los
Hollywood.
Angeles. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. So thanks, Cam, for joining me on this one.
No
if you guys are still with us here, hopefully. Please do, if you're watching this on Facebook, give me a like, give my page a like, share the video, please. If you're watching it on YouTube, share the YouTube video, give me a subscribe and like the video and all that stuff. I do plan on having stuff every week now on my channel because I've got nothing else to do. So the next thing I'm planning is giving a review of the Big Show on Netflix, which just dropped yesterday, I think. So yeah, that's the next thing I'm planning to do a review for is the Big Show, and I should do that about this time next week. So thanks, Cam, for joining me, and thank you everyone for watching. See you guys later.
Bye.